Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elisa, and in this video I will talk about my knitting plans for 2026. Yes, I know it's February already, so I'm probably the last one to make this kind of video, but the truth is that for quite some time I thought I would not make it at all, and that's because the plan this year is not to have any specific plans, which is not true. I'm here to talk about plans. I love planning. I'm a planner. But in 2025, I went a bit too far with that. So my plans became so set in stone that at some point I couldn't follow them anymore. I have a whole video on the channel where I was presenting this year-long project for 2025 that really got me very, very excited in the beginning. And it went very well until the summer, more or less, until I realized that I need some space for my creativity and I need room for new ideas and to change the plans that I make. So this year, I didn't want to repeat the same mistake of trying to plan ahead too much, but at the same time, I need some planning to make sure that I get things done. And of course, this is not about productivity. I knit for the joy of knitting, but I like to have some structure and to know what I'll do next, because there's also a kind of guilty pleasure in, just dreaming of what you're gonna do. It's like savoring your next project because, well, also honestly, because before you start it, it's always perfect, right? It's perfect because it's only in your mind and in your dreams, so it's perfect. So I thought, it doesn't make sense to make a video saying there are no plans for 2026. Then I saw somebody else here on YouTube talk about a knitting bingo. And I thought that was perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do this year. So I made a Ravelry bundle with some projects. So the link will be below. So if you find inspiration in this video, you can always go to the bundle. The bundle has the yarns that I'm going to show you today because I already have linked, project and yarn. Because one of the other things that I really want to do this year is to knit from my stash. And I started last year as well. It's not because I want to make a point, diminishing my stash. I don't care. But I really accumulated a lot last year for various reasons. So it doesn't make sense to have all these beautiful yarns and not use them. It really doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean that I will not buy new yarn. I always buy new yarn. So I'm not on a yarn ban or anything. It's just that I want to see those yarns become something pretty and wearable. So I think I got lost a little bit in what I was saying. Yarn bingo. So the yarn bingo works like this. You have a number of projects, but you don't know exactly what you are making, when. And also you don't have to make everything. Some things might just end up not being knitted, and that's also fine. So my words this year will be flexibility, will be joy in knitting what I want, when I want to knit it. Also allowing myself to put some things into hibernation, if you know what I mean. Because you lose steam sometimes, but then it comes back again. And that's also something that I have learned last year. There have been projects that have been slow going, but then at some point I found the right kind of motivation. So I will just go with the flow this year and draw stuff from the yarn bingo that I'm going to show you. Before I start on the yarn, well, I've started already on the yarn bingo. I'm going to show you one project that is already on the way. But before I start on the bigger garment, I want to finish this. This is a self-drafted V-neck sweater that I'm hoping to make a pattern of. And I'm not talking about it today, but it was just here sitting on dolly because I was like checking the fit and the measurements this morning, so it stayed there, and I thought I'd show you. If you've watched my last video, it was a frog or finish, so I will fit into 2026 those projects as well, the ones that I want to finish and not to frog, but again in a very fluid, spontaneous way. So if you want to make sure that you know what I'm up to, the best way is to subscribe, as you know, and you can also follow me on Instagram. Starting on the bingo, I have divided my projects into 3 bingo cards, let's call them. I don't know if they're called cards in English, but you know, when you have those cards in bingo with all the numbers and then you cross them, or you put a little pin on every number that comes out. So I have 3 cards. One is for socks, because this year I want to always have a pair of socks on the go. Last year, for reasons, I only knitted 1 pair of socks, and it was really a struggle. I felt this urge to constantly cast on socks because socks are my comfort projects. So 1 bingo card for socks, 1 bingo cards for the things that I have in my Ravelry, in my, what's that called again? Not the favorite, the library. Things that I have in my Ravelry library already, and that I have the yarn for. So those are the garments that have more chances to get knitted up because I already have everything I need. And then a 3rd card for the projects that I have yarn for, but I haven't bought the pattern yet. But I mean, if I get to that point, then it's totally possible that I will make them. The first thing I cast on in 2026 was a pair of socks. It was my New Year's cast on. I've done it this year. I don't think I've done it last year, but maybe I have and I forget. I have done it last year. It was this sweater that I'm wearing. How could I forget? This has been one of my most worn sweaters of 2025, and the first one I finished, I think. I really, really like this one. I'm gonna stand up and show it to you. I totally love it. I have a deep dive video on the making of this if you're interested. But anyway, this year it was a pair of socks, and they are the Drowse socks by Kaori Katsurada, Japanese designer, I think. And this is what I have so far. I have the other sock as well. I knitted the whole foot of the other socks. Now I'm deciding what kind of heel I want to make, because these are loosely inspired by this pattern that is included in this book, the 52 Weeks of Socks Volume 2, that I hope will be used a lot this year. But in the book, this pattern is worked top down, and I do prefer to work my socks bottom, toe up, how do you say, cuff down and toe up. I prefer toe up, and in this case, I want to make sure that I use all of the yarn. The yarn is this, and it's an alpaca yarn. The details, all the details about these things will be in the Ravelry bundle, because I know that I forget to mention these things when I talk. I just carry it away. I'm just carried away sometimes. So everything will be there. I have divided the skein into 2 cakes already. So I will knit until I have no more yarn. The thing that I liked about these socks is that the leg is in brioche stitch. I've never knitted brioche at such a small gauge, and it will be interesting. So it will be like floppy socks. How do you call them? The ones that like, you know, the leg is a little bit longer than usual, and so it flops down along your leg cuff. And I want to wear them with my leggings, for example, for when I go to my yoga studio, things like that. The color is just perfect. I'm loving this color at the moment. I have another yarn in a similar color that I'm going to show you in a moment. So I said that I want to decide what kind of heel I'm making, because since I'm hoping to knit a lot of socks this year, one of my goals is also to explore different constructions. I have this construction toe up with a short row heel that is my go-to, because I find it relaxing. I can just knit away at it without thinking too much, but it's not always the best fit. I mean, it fits reasonably well on my feet, but I know there are better solutions. I have other socks that I needed from patterns that have a heel flap and gusset. They are a little bit better in terms of the fit, but I don't particularly enjoy knitting a heel flap and gusset. So this year, some of the socks I have chosen to put in my bundle have different heel constructions. One of them is the Rami socks by Jeanette Knits. I have my sock yarns in here, so we're going to pull out some. The Rami socks have two colors, so one of the possible candidates for these socks are these. This is a sage green and this is a dark blue. I really like this combination. This is Lana Grossa Mylan White with a 5% cashmere, and I also have other colors that I could use for those, like this combination. This is the Pasquale Pinta. I also like these two colors together a lot. But we will see. The sock yarn will be one of the things that will probably be acquired this year. I can always buy sock yarn. I love sock yarn. I love all the colors, and sometimes I am not very original in my color choices for garments, but with socks I don't mind, you know, exploring colors a little bit more. Another candidate for a more not colorful in this case, because what I'm going to show you is these colors. So these are quite neutral and plain colors, but I have this pattern, which is a free pattern. So most of the sock patterns that you will find in the bundle are free patterns. So please check them out, because they are great, and it's always very generous when people put a free pattern online, isn't it? So with these three colors, this is Yavol, and it goes very well with this socks tweed by Durable. Not sure if the camera, this looks more gray than it is. It's like a lighter beige than this, with some darker beige and black speckles. So these three will go perfectly together, and the plan is to make the color palette socks by Laura Muretz, new designer for me. But the pattern looks very, very pretty. And next up is also a free pattern called Solid Stitch Lines by La Maison des Sabbats. And for this one, what I have in stash is these two yarns. Again, a lighter yarn with speckles, and a darker yarn that has the same color as the speckles. This has been frogged. It was a sock that I attempted to make in 2025 and that I frogged because it wasn't working out, and because all of the time I was just thinking how well these two yarns go together. So you know, when you have something in your mind and you can't get rid of it, and in that case I just want to do what I feel. So it felt better to frog an almost finished lace sock, knowing that I would make something that I like better. And so I did. I frogged it. I want to show you one more free pattern. It's called I Walk the Line by Joji. Sorry for butchering the pronunciation. And it's another pattern for 2 colors. Like you saw, I have many other colors in here. This is another one that could very well go with this purple, for example, and I will have leftovers because I always have leftovers, so this can be like combined. This is Color Mix Soft Merino Wool and Polyamide by Lana Grossa. I've used this before. It makes beautiful a beautiful like shade, but it can also be used in other ways. And yarn that I have that I don't have a plan for yet, but yeah, it's these 2 cones that I bought in Japan last year. It's Ito Tricot. This is a wool blend and this is a cotton blend, but I have no idea how much or how long or any other details, because there's this card here that, you know, it's meant to be crossed or marked in some way, but it's not, and it only says 100 grams. But yeah, I will figure out how much it is, and it should be enough to each cone should be enough to make a pair of socks. And again, this can be combined. For example, if it's not enough, both can be combined with this blue. So the blue could be a contrast heel and toes. I'm really looking forward to work with these cones, and they are made of multiple threads. If you see them here, they're very thin threads, and it's also not elastic at all. It has no give. So what I'm thinking of for these 2 cones is rib socks, because rib socks just fit better. And I think this is enough for socks. I talked about 15 minutes about socks. I think that's enough, because there's a lot more, luckily or not. Right, coming to the second bingo card, the one with the garments for which I already have both the pattern and the yarn. The first one is I'm at Hafen by Isabell Kraemer. It will be my first pattern by Isabell Kraemer, believe it or not. I've knitted my first petite knit pattern last year, so this year it's Isabell Kraemer's turn, and I am planning to use this. I find this label fantastic. It's one of the best labels that I've come across in my knitting career, in my knitting life. And it's a 50-50 blend of wool and cotton. And honestly, as much as I like the ball band, I don't really like the yarn itself. I've also swatched with it, and the feel doesn't really change. It feels very cottony. Even if there's wool in it, it has that dry, stiff feeling that cotton has. So I always thought of using this for a bit of a summery sweater or a cardigan or something. I thought, you know, something for we have cold summers here, well, cold by my standards. So I always like to have, you know, a little something, a denim jacket or a lightweight pullover to put on. And this is a good candidate. It's also a color that I don't particularly like. I find it a boring gray, but the I'm at Hafen has these stripes, so I'm planning to buy, because I only have it in the gray, so I will need another color. Same yarn or a different yarn, I don't care. I will find something suitable to combine with this. And I'm planning to buy it this coming Saturday because I'm going to a yarn festival, the Breidage in Breda here in the Netherlands. I'm based in the Netherlands, and that's not far from where I live. So I'm going with a friend, and I'm planning to buy 1 or 2 balls of something that goes with this for the stripes. And ideally, I would find something very colorful, even some color that goes, you know, like out of my comfort zone. So imagine this is of course the wrong kind of yarn, but if you see these two together, I mean, the gray completely changes, right? So it could be something like this, or it could be something like this, something that like comes out. If I don't find anything, in the worst case, I could use this white. These I used last year for a summer cardigan, and they should go together, I think. This is a little more like textured. Yeah, it's it's cotton and silk. It will work, but I mean, I don't dislike it, but I would really like something that that pops a little bit more as a contrasting color. What I like about the Heimathafen is that it has a very casual, everyday look. So I think if I do manage to knit it up, it will be a great everyday sweater that I can wear a lot. And it might actually be, if I find the yarn, it might actually be the first thing I cast on after finishing this one. And by then, it might be that it's already time to start on the summer projects, because I always start too late with those, and then I get to wear them towards the end of the summer. So if I want to get more use out of them, I will have to start early this year. And so yeah, who knows, maybe in March or something. Yeah, March or mid-March at the latest. And one that has been in my library for a long time is the Hor number 14 by Locatelli. I'm saying wrong both the name of the pattern and the name of the designer, but bear with me. You can find it in the bundle, and I'm going to use these 2 colors combined. So the sample you will see on the designer's page is black and looks like black and white, but it's probably black and beige, and there's a blue and beige one. But yeah, I just have these 2 in stash, and they are linen and viscose, so they're very soft, and I do hope that that they're nice to work with, so not too hard on the hands or anything. Yeah, this is the label. The number of the colors will be again on the page, and this is very similar to the one I'm wearing, so this is a testament to how much I love these tealy colors. They are perfect for the summer. I think I might have to change up the stripes a little bit, because in the pattern they are 3 rows and 2 rows, I think, or 4 rows and 2 rows. I will have to make them even. I will have to make calculations because I don't know how much yarn it takes up. But, and this is a lot. This is very long. Oh no, it's not. It's 120 meters in 50 grams. So, so yeah, I will have to change up something, but it shouldn't be a problem. And what I like about this t-shirt, it's a t-shirt. I didn't say it, but you will have seen the photo on screen. I like the construction. It's something that I like about these designers' designs, is that the construction is also always very interesting. And that's something that if I follow a pattern, I really like, because it makes it more interesting and I learn something. So, so yeah, why not? The next summer garment that I want to make is also by Locatelli, and that's partly because she has a pay for 2 and get 3 patterns on her Ravelry as well. Yes, on Ravelry she has this offer as well. So if you're interested, it's ongoing. I don't think it's limited in time because I see it every time I go on her page. So so check her out because it's worth it. The other, it's a t-shirt cardigan. It's a cardigan with short sleeves. So it might be that I use it more like a t-shirt with a tank top underneath. It's called the Lino Cardi, and I'm going to knit it with this yarn that I bought last year when I was visiting my mom and dad. The brand is Cesia. It's an Italian brand, and the factory is not far from where my parents live. So this is a color that it's not in production. It is, I think, one of those, I don't know what they are called, but you know, factories just try colors out, and then maybe they decide to put them in production and maybe not. So this is a unique color, and I bought a big bag of these with 10 balls, and it was so cheap. And because of all these dots, I didn't know how it would knit up, and I was very curious. So I've made a lazy swatch. This is what I call the lazy swatch. So I can measure the row gauge and the stitch gauge without bothering to knit the whole thing. But I think you can see what kind of fabric it produces, and it's really nice. I very much like this hint of blue. It doesn't really show on camera. Maybe it shows better here. The dots are blue. There's also a bit of lavender here, so it's very variegated, and I think it will be perfect in my summer wardrobe where I have all these things that are cream and white and beige, and I have a pair of yellow wide-legged pants that I wear all the time, so this will be perfect with those. And again here the shaping along the shoulder in the Lino Cardi is extremely interesting, so I really can't wait to cast on these things. That's the Lino Cardi. Okay, the Confetti Cardigan by Nashua. Let's say Nash Knits because that's easier. The Lino Cardigan is a she call it shaker's rib. It's half fisherman's rib. I think it's more better known with that name, I'm not sure. And I'm going to knit it with this. Okay. This is a very unusual for me yarn by a Turkish brand. I know that it's sold in the Netherlands, so maybe it's not as unusual as I think. I bought it in Istanbul. As a matter of fact, this one as well. I bought it in Istanbul in the Grand Bazaar, so it's something that, you know, has good memories from that trip to Turkey. And it is baby merino. It's also machine washable, it says. And I basically bought this one because it was so cheap. And it's also a very thin yarn. It's like it's not a lace weight, but what is it? Does it say? Yes, it is lace weight, totally lace weight, but I will use it double. And you know, so I just bought it and said, you know, I will make something with it. That's how I buy my yarns. And then at some point a pattern comes up and I look at it and I'm like, oh yes, that's the perfect yarn. So it works better for me to have the yarn in mind and then find the pattern for it than the other way. And what I liked about this one is again the color change and this little yellow that it has. Although when I knit it up, I have a little swatch here. The yellow kind of disappears a little bit. This is the stitch, the actual stitch. So it's not really visible. So for a while I even thought that I might buy another yellow yarn because that's what I liked. So I thought, you know, I buy a yellow yarn to like make the yellow come out more, but then I decided against it because I didn't want to buy more yarn. I would have leftovers then of this Etrofil yarn. I would have leftovers, and then you never know what to do with the leftovers, so I decided that it's going to be all knitted in this one. But what I like about this Confetti cardigan is that You know, even if there's 1,000 of half fisherman's rib or brioche cardigans like this, what I like about this one is a little detail at the back of the neck in a contrasting color. So I decided that that is going to be yellow in my cardigan. And maybe the buttons as well, who knows. I don't have buttons for this as well, but on Saturday when I go to this yarn event, I'm hoping to buy some buttons for all of the cardigans that I'm knitting in 2026, because I have this one, I have the lino cardi, and potentially a third one that I will show you in a moment. So I also like the simplicity of this one compared to others that I've seen. It doesn't really have how do you call this, hems. It's very plain. It's as plain and simple as it can be, and I really like that. All right, next up is, oh, this is it for the ones, I think, for the ones for which I have the pattern. It's 4 of them, and it's a lot, considering that I have this one, I have all the things that I need to finish because I decided not to frog them, and I have potentially another self-drafted thing, and I have one thing that I have to knit up for a collaboration with a yarn producer. So you see, we already have too much. But if I have more time, and it might be that I do, considering how much I needed this year, my next project would be the Fern Sweater by Pernille Larsen. That has also been in my library for like the longest time, and this year I decided it's time, and I have the yarn for it. So basically, when I started thinking about this pattern, so Pernille Larsen is of course the designer behind Knitting for Olive, so I thought, because this is such a classic piece and such a lovely piece that I will, you know, wear like forever, I could splurge on their yarn. But I have been given this one. This has been given to me by my mom, and the brand is still the same, Cesia. They had a big sale, and my mom bought it in like 3 sweaters quantity. Not a sweaters quantity, but like so much that I could knit 3 sweaters out of it, honestly. It has some acrylic in it, so it's not a yarn that I would have picked myself, because I try to buy natural fibers all the time. But like I said, I have it. I want to use it for something. I don't want to see it in my drawers forever. So I decided that this is a good candidate. It should be the right weight for the fern sweater combined with this mohair. So I splurge on the mohair, which is Rowan Kid Silk Ace. It's beautiful. It's very soft. So I'm really looking forward to work with this one. It's not the cheapest, but it's also not so expensive. And I think this slightly more elegant gray will kind of blend very well into the darker gray that, to be honest, I don't completely like. So the combination will be more something that I can wear. This gray at the top is a bit harsh. By the way, this is going to be a very gray heavy ear, because I have this, and I have this, and I have another gray. I hope this is not a bad omen, you know, gray, a gray ear. Let's not think about those things. Okay, fern sweater. Let's go with this one to cheer ourselves up a little bit. This is the other reddish color that I have and that I want to use for something. And the thing that I'm thinking of making with this is the Magnolia Bloom by Camilla Vad. I've wanted to make it for a long time, and last year after knitting this one I realized how much I like chunky lace. So I think I will really enjoy making this one and of course wearing it. This is also another Cesia yarn that was given to me by my mom, and so I thought, why not? It also has 25% acrylic. I think it's the same composition as this one. Yes, these have the same composition, which is 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% acrylic, which of course makes for a very soft yarn. It's really squishy, and you know, I could squish this all day. I haven't swatched with it yet, but I think yeah, I think it will do. I am a very loose knitter, so even if it says on here, it gives a different gauge on here, but I know how loose I knit, so I know that it will be okay for the Magnolia Bloom. How does it look on me? I never wear these colors. You know, I don't really care. I just like it, so I will wear it anyway. I'm not sure I have enough of this for the whole thing, so it might be that it will have short sleeves, my Magnolia Bloom. And you know, it's okay because it's going to be so warm, then yeah, it doesn't matter. I will just wear the shirt underneath and it will be fine. So the other gray yarn that I want to show you is this one. It's a pure and simple wool by Lanivendola. This is an Italian producer. And it's actually the same yarn as this one. I really enjoyed working with it. So what happened is that while I was knitting this one, I learned that the yarn was going to be discontinued. Lanivendola has another yarn with the same name, but it's not as, this is a single ply, and the new one is not a single ply anymore. To be quite honest, this peels a lot. You can see it. It's also been worn a lot, but it does peel. So I think that is probably the reason why they changed the production. It has, I just found a piece of hay or something in the skein, which is always so nice. Yeah, just like it. This brand was created by two women. It's still those two working there. I think they're called Julia and Stefania. So yeah, what happened was that I thought I was running out of yarn for this green one, and I was freaking out because I was like, you know, it's going out of production and I'm not going to be able to finish the sweater. So I went on the website to buy more yarn. I bought this one in person from them in Florence last year at a yarn festival, but it's hand-dyed, so there's no issues with the dye lot, and I thought I'll just buy another skein. And because I was paying for the shipping, I thought I might just add some more because I liked it so much and I won't be able to get it anymore. So I bought these. I think I have 5 of these. Yes, I have 5 of one is already out of the label, so I can show you the colors back there. It has all these speckles. It doesn't really show on camera. They are blue. Yeah, here you can see the blue and the yellow, and there's some orange as well. So I think it would be, even if it's gray, I think it would be interesting when it's knit up. It's a single ply, like I said, but it's very rustic. Like, doesn't smell like sheep. It smells like my cupboard now because it's been in there for more than a year, but for a year, roughly a year. But yes, it's really nice to hold and to work with and everything. So I'm going to make, or I'm thinking of making, the Cecil jacket by Yo-Yo Knitwear. But I'm not entirely sure I'm going to make this one. And the main reason is that it only has 2 projects on Ravelry. And I don't know what to make of this information. I don't care if a pattern is very popular or not. All I care about is if I like it. But if there are any projects, maybe people didn't like it, the pattern, I mean, not the look of the garment, but the pattern itself, so they weren't able to complete the pattern. Maybe it has some problems, I don't know. If you know this designer, or if you've knitted the jacket but never made a Ravelry project, please let me know before I start on this. And you have time, it won't happen anytime soon. So until after the summer of 2026, I think you will have time. The reason why I thought of matching the yarn with this garment is that it has this casual, informal look that I think this one will give me. I like the textured pattern, so that yeah, even if it's gray, it's going to be like a bit more interesting. It has a nice shoulder detail. It's constructed with a European shoulder construction, so it's casual, but you know, a bit more elevated. And I like that in the original sample it has these toggles, I think they're called, these long buttons, the long buttons in this direction. I really like those. And yeah, the whole thing, you know, I quite like it. I think it would be perfect with my yarn. So yeah, I want to solve this mystery of why there's only 2 projects. But once that is sorted, I think I could go ahead with this. Or if you know of similar patterns, so like a jacket-like pattern that potentially could be used also like an outer layer, because this is how I imagine this sisal jacket. Yeah, let me know. The gauge is 19 stitches and 29 rows, so that you have an idea. You need to know that if you want to recommend a pattern, because I am set on using that yarn that will give me exactly that gauge, or almost exactly. Okay, next up is Instant Crush by Joji Locatelli, and that is also going to be a first. First Isabell Kraemer, and maybe, if I get to that, first Joji Locatelli pattern. Here sample, and it's mohair, and yeah, it's knit in a mohair yarn, but I think the main thing is that I'm reading. Yeah, I think that if I use a lace weight yarn, I will be fine, even if it's not mohair. And I'm planning to use yarn that I had in my stash for the longest time as well. I think it's been there for like 2-3 years. Yeah, I have yarns that have been there for longer, but I want to get rid of them. So the color combination is going to be this one. Yes, it's 4 colors in the, it's a colorwork, a full colorwork sweater. And I'm going to use these 3. These 3 balls are Holstgarn Titicaca. And I originally bought them to make a striped sweater, but when I swatched, I didn't like the fabric that I got. I didn't know if I wanted to use 1 strand or 2 strands. You know, I just fell out of love with it and with the colors. And these colors, just in plain stripes, they didn't give me any joy anymore. But the Instant Crush being, you know, all over colorwork, I think it will be different. And this one is alpaca and silk yarn that I've used for my Lulu sleepover as well. And this was bought a while ago to make something else that didn't happen. So I'm also happy that I will have not only the color variation but the texture variation. yeah, I don't know yet. Of course, I don't have the pattern, so I haven't seen the chart, so I don't know what the sequence will be, but I think this works quite well. I quite like it. So yes, hopefully these are going to become an instant crush. It should be enough. I should have enough because I have multiple balls. But if not, I can always buy a fifth color maybe. Why not? If you've knitted the instant crush and you have experience with it and with how the colors work, let me know. I also have, nah, this is too similar to the first one. But yeah, I have more of this mohair than I will need, so I'll figure something out. Okay, so this is all that I have in my yarn bingo for this year. But like I said, things might come and go and move. So I hope you enjoyed looking at my ideas for 2026. And again, if you think you want to know what I really make in the end, consider subscribing, consider liking, and thanks for watching this far. Goodbye.